toes curled, sweaty palms, ass on the very edge of my seat. Nothing quite did it for me like the Metal Gear Solid franchise. I started with Metal Gear Solid 4 when I was 13 because it looked cool and had guns that people shoot, which at 13 was exactly the kind of game I was looking for. But definitely not the best way to start the series. Metal Gear Solid 4, without context, is an experience I will not forget. After having my brain promptly blown out of my skull by the end of the game, I was hungry for more, and I snagged the Metal Gear Solid HD collection for PlayStation 3, running through Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 with the help of guides because at this point, I was still a smooth-brained gremlin. I looked up recaps of Peace Walker and pre-ordered Metal Gear Solid 5 my junior year, and by that point, I'd completely forgotten all about the original title. Fast forward to now, looking at the latest mind that is Death Stranding 2, with Kojima proudly toting that the game feels much more Metal Gear this time around. Yeah, sure, he might be a surly brunette with severe emotional issues, but he ain't no Snake. I missed the hell out of the series, so I thought, what better time to finally play the title where it all started. It's time to take my long overdue trip to Shadow Moses. The first thing I notice when playing is how cold this game feels, and I'm not just talking Alaska. Snake arrives alone in a submarine with little to no supplies. The environment he steps out into feels kind of sapped of color. There's this metallic emptiness that Shadow Moses emits, a Frankenstein facility of nuclear industry and human ruin. You are a very small man worming your way through a massive machine, and immediately the game did an excellent job of making the mission feel truly daring in every sense of the word. 5 minutes in, and I'm basically just playing Metal Gear Radar. No, it was a joke. I said radar, not yet. I'm hardly ever looking at the main screen. Still, it's a fun opening, and that good old Metal Gear anxiety quickly came back as I sat in a corner praying a guard didn't see me while I waited for the main elevator to get to my floor. My reward is this cinematic, which is one of the sickest title card sequences ever. The camera's frantic as it shows Snake removing his equipment, slowly steadying as he's rising up in this heroic introduction. Puffs of cold air leaving his lips, our hero taking one last deep breath before he has to hold it for the next 8 hours in a series of endless near-death moments. I also love how he kind of looks up at the logo and back down like, yeah, Metal Gear, I know. That was my best Solid Snake impression. A lot has already been said about how advanced Metal Gear Solid was at the time, but goddamn, it's still really, really impressive. And I'm sure this line has been used in about 40,000 other YouTube videos. Taking out your binocs and scoping out your route is just as exciting as it ever was. And also, I still was completely floored by a soldier who went to investigate my footprints, which resulted in a highly tactical espionage Scooby-Doo moment. This game came out eons ago, and yet I can't name 3 other games that have implemented this feature since then. Comments please flood me with footprint games. It's a testament to how much of a powerhouse this title was and is, 20 plus years later, still surprising me in new ways. I take the vent next to the sleepy soldier who I rudely awaken as I crawl past them, and the colonel decides that now is the perfect time to call me. The next few minutes are spent crawling, chatting, and crawling some more through some dingy ass vents. I get lost and proceed to crawl right back out to the previous area because I have no idea where the I'm going. But finally, I make my way to the lower levels. I link up with my boy Donald, who exposition dumps on me before dying of cardiac arrest. Also, fun fact, I didn't realize this was Sigyn from Snake Eater until I looked this up for the script. Crazy. Gonna miss you, buddy. After that, I team up with my buddy Meryl for some super tactical espionage stealth. And by that, I mean mowing down hordes of guards with an unsilenced pistol. They never knew you were even there, Snake. Anyways, I get introduced to the GOAT himself, Psycho Mantis, and damn, is this a crazy intro scene for him. Man just pops up, levitates, makes you trip, and leaves. After that, I make my way back to the previous area so I can conduct some more tactical espionage. And by tactical espionage, I mean blowing up several walls with pounds of C4. S++ Snake. Then I'm treated to my first proper boss, Revolver Ocelot. God, I love the setup of this fight, taking pot shots at each other from across the room while a dude rigged to blow stands between us. My heart's racing. I could miss and blow us all up. Or I could be a complete idiot and throw a grenade killing us all. Why did I do that? I'm hugging walls, watching as Ocelot's chamber empties into my skull because this guy is basically f***ing bullseye, I guess. Then Baker just blows up anyways, but doesn't die, somehow. Then I get saved by Gray Fox, because a cyborg ninja is truly the only thing this game was missing. No, and somehow he doesn't kill Ocelot? I mean, come on, dude, you could have taken a bit more than the arm, but I guess he was just trying to avoid a time paradox. Baker gives me another heaping plate of Metal Gear lore before the nanomachines give Baker a big serving of heart failure, and I'm off to do some more tactical espionage. And by more tactical espionage, I mean multiple alert phases and game overs. Yeah, I am horrible at this game. Still, even in my moments of grand failure, there's fun to be had. There's a moment where I was pinned down, a dash of health left on my gauge with no rations. I'm pressed up against the wall, SOCOM in hand, and I somehow still felt like a badass. All right, Snake, it's laser dodging time. All right, I could probably use some chaff grenades to get through this area. Wait a second. Oh, that's sick. Wait, are they going up and down or left or right? Question. Who do you think would win in a fight? 7 dudes in an M1 tank with about 40 different weapon attachments, or one sneaky boy? Vulcan's boss opens up with a cutscene of Snake doing a pretty sick backflip as he dodges a tank missile. But then you cut to the gameplay, which is me running around in circles, blindly chucking grenades at Vulcan's general direction. I'm not sure what temp agency Liquid went through to get his group of mercs, but my god does he need to make some new hires. He's truly a beast. I couldn't best him. Dude, I gave you a tank and 5 other guys. What weapons is he using? Grenades. Okay. I mean, once again, you're on a tank. We kept the cockpit open. Why? So we could shoot at him and taunt him occasionally. Why would you need both against a single man? Just shoot at him with the tank missiles. Look, it's not that easy, all right? He lays down and it's really hard to shoot sometimes. Also, just a heads up, he's got a lot of grenades. He threw 8 into the cockpit. It was crazy. You kept the cockpit open while he successfully threw 8 grenades into it. Look, man, I'm trying. I know you are. I'm sorry. Okay, just forget it. After that, I watched this dude take a steamy piss. Then later on, Liquid farts into an area of Shadow Moses, which requires me to have a gas mask on, and the game goes full top down. I have way too much fun shooting these little rockets at cameras. Then comes that Gray Fox moment, which goddamn. Yeah, I think this guy officially rose in the straight up terrifying ranks and dethroned Psycho Mantis. But seriously, you can do all of that, but you can't kill Ocelot? I love this boss. No guns. Just a straight up heaping bowl of CQC for me, please. There's something weirdly awesome about this fight taking place in a generic corporate office. I also felt like the goddamn biggest boss of them all after discovering my chaff grenades can put him in a near infinite set of stun locks. Hey, it's technically not a gun, so. Then I finally get to meet my man, Otacon, and he proceeds to, you guessed it, present me with a PowerPoint on Metal Gear lore. Look, I know I haven't really delved into the story too much so far, and I do that deliberately because I don't want to join the several other hordes of channels that have done Metal Gear Solid retrospective reviews with 80% of its runtime consisting of a story recap. I love the absurdity of its dialogue, the grandiose themes of patriarchy, constant subterfuge, and nuclear deterrence. But for the sake of your sanity and mine, I'm mostly gonna stick to the gameplay for this one. Anyways, after that, I gotta find Meryl. She can only be identified by her gravitational pull and ass-shaking walk, which is exactly how all women get around. Kojima's been with a ton of women, so you can totally trust him on this. Well, how are you gonna identify her? Well, how else? Follow her into the bathroom and watch her take her clothes off, of course. Good thinking, Snake. It's the only way. And then comes the man, the myth, the legend, Psycho Mantis. I am rendered powerless as he moves my controller telepathically and shuts my TV off. Side note, why the hell didn't they pump Snake full of this stuff in the Terrible Children project? Also, what a rude name for the project. No wonder why Snake and Liquid have such low self-esteem. This guy seems like the real super soldier to me. First, I gotta feed Meryl a tiny bit of CQC, but after that, Mantis puts me through the goddamn ringer. Honestly, I didn't know how the hell to defeat this guy, and after about 30 minutes of my slightly shaped but still mostly smooth brain trying to think, I gave up and looked up the solution. Then confidently declared that I would have probably never figured that shit out by myself anyways. I also played this on Duck Station, and it took me 20 minutes to figure out how to change the controller port. Snake, if you're playing this on emulator on your Steam Deck, you have to launch the Duck Station application separately and adjust the port settings of the controller configuration. Snake, did you hear that? Snake! Finally, I beat him, and he delivers a real tearjerker of a dying monologue. Also, he looks like a shrunken head. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of this wolf section, and after looking online, it looks like I wasn't the only one. Colonel, please, help me understand. How the hell am I supposed to quietly get past these wolves when they're directly in the middle of the room and just walking back and forth? Snake, remember, this is a tactical espionage mission. And by tactical espionage, I mean running forth blindly and unloading entire clips of bullets from a fully automatic rifle into any wolves that stand in your way until you accidentally find the crawl space that leads to the other side. Understood, Colonel. Thanks for the tip. Just gotta watch Meryl's footsteps and then I can get through the minefield. Backtracking time, baby. Go get that sniper. Meryl's gonna be fine while you're gone, don't worry. Gotta give her credit for her skill, because using snipers in this Metal Gear world seems 10 times harder than anywhere else. Maybe if the gun didn't immediately glue itself to my eyeball on 500 magnification as soon as I took it out, it'd be a little easier to use. I also have to thank her for letting me win and pretending like she didn't see me come out of the same exact corner 8 times in a row. Another great recruit to the team, Liquid. Well, I guess she actually was, because I got nabbed. It took a while, but finally, this is where the homoerotica really starts to pick up in Metal Gear. Solid Snake has become Naked Snake, and the unfortunate victim of the literal edgelord himself, Revolver Ocelot. Gotta say, this guy's a pretty generous torturer. He only zaps you 4 times and walks you through how to get through it. Yeah, just go ahead and press the button really fast, buddy. It'll be over soon. He also tells me when it's the last one and then asks if I can take it. Very considerate and very caring, as all kinky terrorists are and should be. After mashing the action button for 10 straight minutes, I submitted, thinking that was what I was supposed to do. But then the game seemed to just make me feel really bad about it. Ocelot gives me like this whole I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed spiel, and then he says he's gonna kill Meryl. And the game keeps going. I thought I was just gonna get a fun alternate game over screen or something. that, I'm winning. I reset my save and endure the torture. Then I get to hang out with Sigyn some more. I show off my CQC and crawling abilities to my prison guard. Otacon cleverly sneaks in and provides me with the ultimate Looney Tunes escape tool, a bottle of ketchup, which easily fools my prison guard. Kojima seems to have always had a strong and deep love for climbing up absurdly long structures. In yet another moment of intense stealth espionage, I have to run up a 90-floor tower while hordes of guards chase me from both sides and go weapons free. As you might imagine, this is not very enjoyable. Oh yeah, those 3 guys on the catwalk? I hate you with every fiber of my being, with every gene of my body. It's time to fight Liquid. Tanks didn't go so well, so Liquid's gonna go with a chopper. This fight ain't too bad until the second phase, where Liquid just hides behind a building where you can't shoot him, only deciding to come out for about a fraction of a second. It's after that that Kojima exemplifies his artistic range, now having the player climb down an absurdly long structure. It's here you'll start doing something that the game requires a lot more often: spam throwing chaff grenades. I just wish Cynthia Harrow was serenading me while I went up and down these things. I absolutely love how the invisible soldiers on this elevator kindly wait for Snake to figure out that they were on the elevator before attacking. I can't stand the way damage works in Metal Gear Solid. Like, if you hit this guy once, he'll go into an invulnerable death animation and then just pop right back up. Why can't I shoot the bastard while he's down? Why are you being so polite and letting him get back up first, Snake? I swear, you and Ocelot. Initially, I liked sneaking past the cameras, but at this point, the amount of awkward camera dodging I gotta do is getting out of hand. Oh god, again? Okay, this fight is even worse than the first encounter because Sniper Wolf has even more places to run to on her side. It takes double the time for me to find her with my scope, so I say, you know what? The sniper. Time to learn the reason why they call me Rocket Wolf. Otacon, get a hold of yourself, man. I bet him and Krillin would get along really well. And then, oh wow, I'm on disc 2. This might get me shot, but disc 2 was a f***ing nightmare. It starts off well enough. I love the first area. Shimmying along the walls, a great lake of lava lies below me, which of course I fall directly into immediately. Was kind of bummed Snake didn't give a thumbs up as he was sinking into the lava. Then after that comes the fateful rematch with Volks. First off, this area is probably one of my favorites in the entire game. The bone-chilling cold as crows call and circle Snake. It feels like a death chamber, and you already know that only one man is coming out of this one alive. The battle itself is really well done too. Running away from Vulcan through this maze that shrinks as you damage him, it becomes claustrophobic while Vulcan becomes faster. I had to actually think about how I was going to use my C4 charges and claymores so that I could get a few good hits on him. Honestly, I tried to avoid the use of claymores though because I kept forgetting they were there and would just blow myself up instead. And I also love his death scene. Snake walking away as Vulcan curses him to be haunted by the souls he's killed forever is an eternally badass moment. It's here where I form my hatred for my eternal enemy, the POW key. First off, I gotta get this thing from a rat somehow. And somehow, I came up with the fantastic idea of blowing up a rat with C4 to get the POW key back, which I thought I recorded until I realized I still had my stream paused, and I was very annoyed. There was nothing better than me thinking, this totally is not gonna work, and then going, holy f***, that worked. Easily my strongest achievement in both death and life. But the bullshit just got started. Oh, you got the POW key? Great. Now you gotta run all the way back to Vulcan's area to cool it down. I go back to his area, not realizing that A, the POW key changes colors once it has successfully been cooled down, and B, in order to actually cool it down, you have to crawl around on the ground some more. Sadly, both of these points did not become known to me until after I ran all the way back to the control room and stupidly tried to insert my lukewarm POW key back into the slot. And so I took yet another lap back. Success. Great job, Snake. Now you just gotta heat it up by going back to the area before Vulcan. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Listen here, Kojima. I'm $400,000 in debt with 8 kids to feed and a loving wife from Tunisia who doesn't work. I don't have time for your games, but I make the time anyway. So please, no more of this repetitive backtracking fetch quest stuff, all right? Oh dear God, stay away from me. Uh-oh, guess what? That wasn't Miller, that was Liquid. Miller is dead, and no one really cares, to be honest. It's funny how big of a character Miller becomes in the Metal Gear series, having more lines than Snake himself in Metal Gear Solid 5, but goes out in the lamest way possible in Metal Gear Solid 1. Well, after that, I make my grand escape, and then it's time. Since beating Metal Gear Solid, I've had sleep paralysis almost every night, and the figure I see standing over me is Metal Gear Rex. I died to this thing almost as many times as I died to Medeer, but I guess it would be fairer to say I was fighting with the game itself, a meta twist I'm sure Kojima intended, having to once again stand there and try to take a shot at an enemy while I'm filled with a country's worth of artillery. Also, the Stinger most of the time will just lock on and not hit anything. Just say, nah, I'm good. But I finally got him down with a little help from Gray Fox. Thank you for your service, Mr. Yeager. Wait, that's not the end of the fight? Oh my god. Monologue time. Okay, finally I get to know why the hell Liquid's doing all this. Oh, and guess what? All those guards? Yeah, you've been killing your brothers this whole time. Snake, can you go one game without killing a family member? It's an interesting speech from Liquid, who I kind of feel bad for at this point. Just a guy trying to help his siblings who never wanted to be born in the first place. But boy, does this fella love to yap. There were a few points during Liquid's speech where his voice kind of faded in the background, and I sort of just listened to the tinnitus in my ear instead. Blah, 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 blah. Big boss, blah, 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 blah. Hate, blah, blah, blah. Genes. Poor thing. All right, time to die. An epic car chase ensues, and Liquid gets too high off the fox die. Snake gets the girl, which would not have happened if I didn't use the sands of time earlier, and he gets to choose his own way in life from here on out. Make his own path. Enjoy life, and stop taking orders and just being a soldier. Playing Metal Gear Solid 1 was truly an absolute delight. There's so much character and charm present in the writing, and so many incredible mechanics that I can't begin to fathom how difficult it must have been to create at the time. And the most satisfying of all was seeing the origin of one of my favorite gaming series ever, way later than I should have. Metal Gear Solid is a colossal title that will always rock, and while it certainly hasn't aged well in every regard, it's still a great trip I'd recommend for any newcomer. But if you are a newcomer to the series, you kinda have to play every single Metal Gear game. Sorry, it's just the rules. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to listen to me yap about some more Metal Gear, stay tuned. I've got some more stuff coming up. Bye bye, Fox die. So he beat you by switching his controller to a different port.
I never expected him to be so strong. I turned off his TV and made his controller move and everything.
Look, I don't know what the you're talking about, but thank you. Really appreciate your help, and it was a pleasure working with you.
Likewise.